There's been quite a lot of unexpected benefits that has come from living minimally, that has come to me from living minimally and more mindfully. So I wanted to share what those benefits are in this video. In case you're minimalist or you're considering living more minimally and more mindfully, these benefits are something that I myself have seen and experienced in my life, and I'm sure it will help you too. And if you see my face and my content for the very first time, hello guys, my name is Sky. Welcome to my channel. Over here, I talk all things minimalist lifestyle and productivity. Everything is easy and chill over here. So if you like the vibe, please watch my other videos. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe in case you haven't already. One thing that is like a problem for most people these days, and they don't even know that's a problem, but if you see how people are living, if you see how hurried and stressed out and frenzied life seems to be nowadays, you find that most people, even adults, they suffer from peer pressure, like what people think they want, what they buy, how they live, what they get involved in, what they indulge in. Sometimes they don't even know why they're doing those things. They don't even know why they're buying those things. They don't even know why they're living that way. You just find that you're doing what other people are doing, or you're pursuing goals or ambitions that are not necessarily yours, that you don't really care about. You're living in places where you don't really love, because that's where everyone lives. Or you're buying stuff or dressing or just, living life without even mindfully choosing that kind of life. And it's from peer pressure, fear of missing out. Nobody's fully immune to peer pressure, regardless of how tough or how strong you are. But if you're a minimalist or live more minimally, the mindfulness that comes from that kind of lifestyle kind of helps you reduce or build resistance to peer pressure. You're not as pressured to just buy things and wear things and live in a way that is not true to you or that doesn't really serve you. Minimalism in itself encourages mindfulness. It encourages mindful living in how we spend, what we buy, how we live. So by the virtue of that, the more mindful you are, the less open you are to peer pressure, and that's just a better way of living. You're more intentional about how you're curating your life. You're more intentional about what you're bringing in, how you're living, what you're consuming, and it's a much better lifestyle for me anyway. Practicing minimalism or living minimally will teach you, and it has taught me how to question things, take a pause when I want to make any decision, ask myself if this is what I want, why I want it, why I feel this way, do I want to buy this thing, do I need it to really add value to my life, and whatever it is that I do have, or whatever situation that I find myself in, I try to see how I can extract value from it. So minimalism has taught me that mindfulness in making decisions and taking steps, which in turn kind of helps me reduce my openness to peer pressure. So regardless of what's happening out there, regardless of what's happening around me, regardless of what anybody else around me is doing, I always ask myself that question. I take a few pauses, ask myself a few questions, just to be sure that that is what I really want, or that's what is going to serve me ultimately. I've said here before that I'm a fairly organized person, and even though I don't know if that's nature or nurture, but I know that over time I've practiced being more organized in different ways. I've spoken about, I think I made a whole video about how to be more organized, or how I stay organized, and that has come, or that has been developed over years through practice. And that's one thing minimalism has done for me. Minimalism again is about mindfulness, and mindfulness goes hand in hand with being organized, because at every point you're asking yourself questions, you're pausing, you're taking things a little slower, you're just more conscientious, you're more aware, and you take things step by step really. So that's maybe more organized when it comes to my schedule, when it comes to my wardrobe, what I buy, where I go, what I do, even down to my personal interactions. I spoke about how I organize even my social media usage. I spoke about this entire social media thing in my last video. I'll link it up here in case you haven't seen it. But being organized kind of spreads through almost every area of your life, and that's one benefit that I've gotten from being a minimalist or living minimally. I've just become more organized as a person. I don't have a lot to worry about compared to most people. I was talking to like a friend of mine, and he would tell me about stuff that's happening in his life, and I'll be like, your life seems very, very eventful, and by contrast, mine doesn't seem so eventful. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely more peaceful, because I'm just generally more organized with my time. I'm more organized with my friends and family. I'm more organized with my schedule. I'm more organized with what I buy, my shopping habits, and it just made me a much more organized person as a whole. That's one benefit that minimalism will do for you. In case you are struggling with being organized, consider scaling down, consider being more mindful about what you're doing with your life, how you're managing your time, how you're buying things, how you're consuming resources, and all of these things. Off the back of being organized, one thing that you also gain from being minimalist or living minimally is that you save a lot of time. And time management is a big thing for most people, most adults. It's advisable to make sure that we're maximizing our time, using our time to the best of our ability. And being minimalist or living minimally has helped me be more time efficient. I don't really spend my time or waste my time when I'm doing tasks. I'm very specific with what I'm doing for the most part. Like, it might seem like I'm not doing a lot. Like, looking at me from the outside, it might seem like I'm not doing a lot, and that's because for the most part, on the days that I want to be very productive, I try to plan out my day. I have a whole thing about making to-do lists. I've spoken about making to-do lists so much on this channel. If you haven't seen any of my videos on making to-do lists, I'll link a few down below and I'll hop you in the card so you go and watch them. But being organized, in turn, saves me a lot of time. I don't waste time doing tasks that don't matter. I don't waste my energies and my time doing things that will not bring value to me, things that are not necessary for me to do every day. So I'm more time conscious in that way. I've also spoken about being punctual to things and to places, and that's one thing being a minimalist does for me. I'm kind of, organized with my schedule, so that helps me be on time to places and things. I'm not someone who is late to things for the most part. I'm pretty punctual, and that I feel is a good thing to be. So if I'm struggling with being punctual or being to places and things on time, maybe consider living a little bit more minimally, becoming more organized. It will help you save time. It will help you be on time and just make you more time conscious in general. Speaking of being on time, one benefit of being minimalist or living minimally that helps me stay punctual is that I can get ready for things and places very, very quickly. I literally can get ready to go anywhere in minutes because I know where everything that I own is. I know what I want to wear. I plan ahead of time. I just know where things are. I know all the clothes that I have, and I know that if I want to go somewhere in particular, I know what I want to wear ahead of time, and then I can sort out stuff that I want to wear. So getting dressed is much easier. Looking for stuff is much easier because I know where everything is, and that's because being minimalist means more often than not you have a clearer, or let me say stronger grasp of what you do have and where everything is. So I'm being organized just kind of help you get ready on time. So if I need to be somewhere at a particular time, even if it's like suddenly, I can more or less get ready very, very quickly, and that helps me stay punctual. And that's one benefit that being minimalist has helped me achieve. Let me speak about getting dressed a little bit more. So I find that if you have kind of developed some sort of a personal style, it's easier to curate your wardrobe, it's easier to get dressed. And if you know where everything that you own or everything that you want to wear is in your home or your closet, it just makes it easier to reach them. Same with hair and makeup. If you've kind of narrowed down a kind of range of the looks that are most complimentary to you when it comes to hair, when it comes to makeup and accessories, that also helps you get ready on time, So because when you have to be somewhere, it's when you have to start experimenting with new looks or new hairstyles or new clothes. So just being organized in that sense, having a personal style, knowing where everything is, knowing what suits you, knowing what to wear for what occasion, all that kind of helps me get ready very, very quickly. I've touched on saving time being a benefit of being minimalist or living minimally, but one other thing again that you save very importantly is money. You save money by being minimalist, and that is because, like I mentioned, most purchases or when you acquire things, you acquire them more mindfully. You are not just buying things randomly or willingly just because you see people buying it or people acquiring those things. You kind of curate your life in a way that suits you, and therefore you spend your money in a way that gives you the most value. And that's one way that being minimalist has saved me tons of money. I mean, it's not like I'm wealthy or anything, but when I do buy things, it happens a little bit more consciously and more financially prudent in that sense, and therefore I save money. All these benefits are great, and I appreciate all of them, and these are benefits that have ultimately made me happier and better. But there's one benefit that is, like, I think the most important or the biggest, most impactful benefit, and that's stress. Being minimalist or living minimally has helped me manage my stress levels better. Being minimalist means that you don't have too much, you're not spread out too much unnecessarily. What you're acquiring around yourself, how you're living your life, your schedule, your possessions, your time, your health, everything is managed from a much more slower, mindful perspective, which in turn has made me not as stressed out as the average person. I have stress, obviously, life will life. You have stressors, you have things that will bother you, and I do have moments where, like, I kind of spike and my stress levels are so crazy, but practicing mindfulness and living more mindfully kind of helps you take a pause, slows you down, and by extension, your stress levels are better managed. Obviously, minimalism is not for everyone, and not everyone can live, in this way. But regardless of what your lifestyle is or what your philosophy of life is, I believe that there are tons of benefits to be gotten from, being more mindful, slowing down a little bit, being more organized, being more time conscious, and all of these things that I mentioned in this video. Leave me a comment if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up because it does help my content, and of course, subscribe in case you haven't already. I'm going to see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. In the meantime, take care.